In December of 1977, NASA officially declined President Carter's request, proposing that it take no steps to establish a research activity in this area.
Did you ask when you were president? What is it?
Yes, but there's a lot of different answers, and nobody has proof of things.
The American Broadcasting Company and affiliated stations present Headline Edition with Taylor Grant.
The 509th Atomic Bomb Group headquarters at Roswell, New Mexico, reports that it has received one of the discs which landed on a ranch outside Roswell. Colonel William Blanchard of the Roswell Air Base refuses to give details of what the flying disc looks like.
New Mexico Congressman Stephen Schiff was pressed by his constituents into making inquiries regarding the Roswell incident.
I think a number of people getting their information from news stories, not in all cases, but in many cases, are not getting all of the information.
In a 1997 radio interview, he recalls what happened when he made inquiries with the Department of Defense.
The first response I got was a bit of a terse response from a colonel in the Air Force. The letter just said, "We've referred your request for information to the National Archives," with really no further explanation. And I found that unusual at the very least.
After a second attempt with the Department of Defense, Congressman Schiff was again referred to the National Archives.
And I got a response from them that said, "We have no information about the Roswell incident." And further, they added a note that said, "We've received a great number of requests for information." And I thought to myself, well, I'm not surprised. I mean, if the Defense Department is sending everybody to the National Archives, that they'd be getting a lot of requests. And frankly, I felt this was a runaround. In other words, in my view, the Defense Department sent me to another agency on my request, knowing that agency would not have any information.
Evidently, former director of the FBI, J. Edgar Hoover, was also denied access, as he stated in his own handwriting in July of 1947. "We must insist upon full access to discs recovered." Hoover continued, "The Army grabbed it and wouldn't let the Bureau have it for cursory examination."
We will stand against the forces of...
A more recent inquiry was apparently made by President Bill Clinton.
Let us stand up and talk against it.
He asked Associate Attorney General Webster Hubbell to investigate. Webb Hubbell and Bill Clinton were old friends. In his book, Friends in High Places, Hubbell recalls a special favor that President Clinton made after he first came into office. Webb, he said, "If I put you over at Justice, I want you to find out the answers to two questions for me. One, who killed JFK? And two, are there UFOs?" He was dead serious. Hubbell had looked into both, but wasn't satisfied with the answers he was getting. When we asked Mr. Hubbell about this incident, he replied,
"Was wondering if you, by any chance, recall anything further at this point?"
No, I put everything in the book that I knew. I mean, I suggest you contact Mr. Clinton.
We contacted President Bill Clinton and received this letter. It is a response from NASA, stating that no government agency is currently responsible for investigating UFOs because there is no factual evidence that alien life exists on other planets, or that UFOs are related to aliens.
See, this is what you'll be up against. Who are you going to see? The moment you go see somebody and say, "Oh, we can't tell you, it's top secret," what are you going to do? You have to walk out. So you see how the government operates? How they can, you say, you should go there and answer. Who are you going to go to? Even with the experience I had being on the top of the government all the years, I couldn't tell you who to go see.
Paris, 1999. The most important UFO study in recent decades is made public. This was presented to the President and Prime Minister of France, urging diplomatic action with the U.S. through the European Union. The report was compiled by the Cometa Group, which investigated over 500 UFO cases from around the world.
This report, which came from a high-level group of French military officers primarily, as well as some scientists, is the most strongly worded pro-UFO document ever written in any language that has been made public by a group of this stature.
The Cometa Group consists of generals and admirals of the French military, as well as top-level scientists, such as André Lebeau, director of CNES, the French equivalent of NASA, General Bernard Norlin, former commander French Tactical Air Force, and Jean-Claude Ribe, the former director of the observatory at Lyon, France.
The title of the report is UFOs and Defense, What Must We Prepare For? Now it's 92 pages of text after that title.
The Cometa Group received data collected by numerous scientific agencies. Much of its content was based on reports from military and civilian pilots. This official document was an internal military investigation that was never intended for the general public. The report also contains a selection of photographs. These photos were subjected to scientific analysis in an effort to determine authenticity. Cometa also examined physical evidence, such as plant and soil samples taken from alleged landing sites. One such case occurred on January 8, 1981, in southern France.
There was only a single witness to that event. He was working in his small farm. Late one afternoon, he heard a whistling sound.
He looked up, and just above the trees was this strange craft. It descended and landed 30 feet away in his garden.
La forma, c'était comme si on posait deux assiettes, l'une sur l'autre.
He told his wife about it in the evening, and she thought he was joking. They went back in the morning to look at the area, and they found traces on the ground.
Sì, sì, che y avait le ronde. Tu vois, maintenant commence à revenir l'herbe, mais là, ils l'ont coupé beaucoup de fois. Et ici.
The scientists came out in a week or two, and they took further samples of soils. They also took samples of plants, and the analysis of the soil and plants were very interesting. They were carried out quite professionally, and there was evidence of compression of the soil, and there was a clear evidence of damage to the plants, the kind of injury that could happen because of heating, due to microwaves, for instance. So there was good physical evidence in that case, and moreover, there were two kinds of physical evidence: injury, damage to the soil, and damage to the plants.
Despite the physical evidence, the small town of Trans-en-Provence labeled the farmer as a flying saucer fanatic.
Je peux pas dire que c'était une soucoupe volante, que c'était... J'ai vu quelque chose,
oui.
Il s'est posé, il est reparti.
A number of cases analyzed by the Cometa Group came from military pilots involved in UFO incidents. One of the most dramatic cases occurred in September of 1976, when a Phantom F-4 jet flown by a pilot from the Iranian Royal Air Force attempted to fire a missile at a UFO. In the same instant, the pilot's fire control console and radio went dead.